So my first point is just an observation for the advisory committee. We've been presented a very interesting presentation here, but for the purposes of, in the future, if the 9-member advisory committee seeks to draw conclusions through any report, I think that the record needs to show that we only heard from one side of the debate on this issue. As the CFTC mentioned, there were other commenters that advocated for the threshold to drop to $3 billion. The advisory committee has not heard from those commenters, and I think that it is critical that the advisory committee, before it makes any sort of conclusions in the future in any formal way, that it must hear from those presenters as well, so that we have an opportunity to see all sides of the debate. My next question is for Mr. McIndoe. Am I saying your name right? So I've got questions about who exactly the Commercial Energy Working Group is. I'm not clear as to your organization. Who are your members, for example?
Sure. That's a good question. We have in every single one of our comment letters described our organization as representing a cross-section of the commercial energy space. The group has not decided to publish the list of its members, so I'm not in a position here to tell you who our members are, but I appreciate the question.
Could you, I mean, your organization serves as an associate member of an advisory committee. Would you publicly reveal the names of your members related to your service on a federal advisory committee?
I'm not aware of our organization currently being on any advisory committee. We would welcome the opportunity.
Is not the Commercial Energy Working Group an associate member?
Are we?
Yes, you are.
Ron, I'm not aware of that. But if we are, it still puts me in the same position of the same answer that I'd have to give that I had for you, which is that would have to come to a vote of the members. We haven't put that vote of the members, but I'm happy to put it to a vote of the members in light of your question, Tyson.
And just a couple more questions, if I may. So I haven't been able to find any 990 annual reports that your organization files with the Internal Revenue Service or any registrations with any state or other entity. So is the Commercial Energy Working Group a legal entity? I'm not clear as to exactly what it is.
That's a fair question, Tyson. The Commercial Energy Working Group is a non-organized, in other words, we have no legal entity to which any of those filings would apply. It is a group of firms that are held together by their own consensus. They're free to go at any time. And essentially, it's just a working group, just as a bunch of firms got together. The linchpin is Sutherland and our representation of them and working together. But it's not the same kind of entity that your questions are aimed at.
I'd like to yield, but I'd first just like to say something for the record, that I think that if an organization is going to be providing formalized advice in the format of a federal advisory committee format, and if it's going to participate as an associate member, I think that it needs to operate with more transparency than what we see here. I think that it's got to publicly identify its members. I think that it's got to be a legal entity that at least has, I mean, every other organization and company here has to incorporate somewhere. I have to file 990 forms in the Internal Revenue Service, and I think that that should be a minimum request of participation in a format such as this. I yield temporarily my time. Thank you.